NFL recently started their top 100 players of the 2024 season, and so in today's video, I wanted to try and guess the top 10 players of the top 100 that the NFL will announce in the coming week. But before we get into the video, I wanted to take a second to ask you to please subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, really helps us out. If you're a fan of the NFL, you'll love this channel as we release multiple NFL-related videos every Tuesday and Friday all year long. Now, let's get back to the video. Quick disclaimer before we get into the top 10. This is who I think the NFL will pick as their top 10, not necessarily who I think will be the top 10 players for the 2024 season. Starting out at number 10, I have Maxx Crosby going up 7 spaces from 17th in last year's top 100 players. Crosby had an even better year for the Las Vegas Raiders in 2023, where he had 14.5 sacks compared to 12.5 sacks in the previous season. Got a second-team All-Pro nod that he did not get in 2022, and finished 4th in Defensive Player of the Year voting compared to 6th in 2022. Those small upticks, I think, will be enough to move Maxx Crosby into the top 10, and I do think that he has a good shot at being just barely in that top 10. That's why he's in at number 10. At number 9, I have Justin Jefferson down 7 spots from number 2 in 2023, and I think Justin Jefferson should be higher than this personally, but I think he's going to get a little bit of a knock because of his injuries that happened during the 2023 season. In 2023, Jefferson only played in 10 games, only starting in 9, and had to leave early from multiple of those games. However, even with that, he still put up over 1,000 yards, meaning he was pacing for well over 1,800 yards. Clearly still one of, if not the best wide receivers in the NFL, which is why I think he should be higher, but I understand that the NFL players will likely demote him a little bit thanks to that injury, which held him out for 7 games in 2023. At number 8, I have TJ Watt moving up 19 spots from 2023 to 2024. I think TJ Watt is one of the best defensive players in the NFL, and a lot of people would argue he should have won NFL Defensive Player of the Year in 2023 like he did in 2021. But he finished 2nd in the voting at the end of the day, and I think he absolutely deserved that. I think the argument for him being 1 was fair. But in spite of finishing 2nd, he still led the league in sacks with 19 sacks in 2023. Got a first-team All-Pro nod. So this guy still had a stellar season in 2024 and is absolutely deserving of a top 10 slot here at number 8. At number 7, I have Josh Allen moving up 1 spot from number 8 in 2023. And this is a bit of a questionable one. If you look at Josh Allen's statistics, he was down in 2023 compared to 2022. However, I think a lot of quarterbacks fell in that bucket of being down in terms of statistics from that 2022 to 2023 season, as no quarterback really shone beyond any other in 2023. Josh Allen did put up a career high in interceptions with 18, more than an interception per game, and fell short of 30 touchdowns for the first time in the past 4 seasons. However, in spite of that, he still finished 5th in NFL MVP voting and 6th in Offensive Player of the Year voting, showing that people still recognized how good and dominant Josh Allen was. And oh yeah, when they were winning games at the end of the season, star wide receiver Stefon Diggs was basically nothing more than a pylon or a distraction in the offense that ran through Josh Allen, James Cook, Dalton Kincaid, and even Khalil Shakir to an extent, as opposed to Stefon Diggs, which just shows that Josh Allen has clearly evolved past just being a throw-it-to-Diggs quarterback, and he is an elite quarterback. So I think 7 is justified for him, but I could also see a world where he does fall just out of the top 10. At number 6, we have Mr. Baby Daddy himself, Tyreek Hill, coming in 1 spot higher than in 2023, moving from 7 to 6. Tyreek Hill, for much of the 2023 season, was pacing for a 2,000-yard season, the first we've ever seen in NFL history. Now, yes, it is a 17-game season now. A 2,000-yard season for a receiver is much more attainable than it was in a 16-game season, but it still has yet to be done, and Tyreek Hill almost got it, which shows that he definitely deserves to be moving up slightly from 7 to 6. Beyond that, he moved from 9th in MVP voting up to 6th in MVP voting, and moved from 4th in Offensive Player of the Year voting to 2nd in Offensive Player of the Year voting, showing that even NFL honors deemed that he had a better season in 2023 than he did in 2022. So it just makes sense this ranking should climb because of that. And while I could see a scenario where Tyreek Hill is even higher than this, I think the top 5 guys are just that little bit better than Hill, which is why he falls in here at number 6. At number 5, we have Micah Parsons moving up 4 spots from number 9 in 2023. And it might be weird to say that Micah Parsons is moving up, even though he had his lowest ever finish in Defensive Player of the Year in 2023. He finished 3rd. His other 2 seasons, he finished 2nd. He also had his only non-All-Pro first team appearance this year being on the All-Pro second team. The main reason being because a guy like TJ Watt beat him in 2023. And so you might ask, why do I have Parsons ahead of Watt if Watt beat Parsons in all the honors for edge rushers? And I think it's just because the NFL Top 100 is voted on by the players. And I do think there's a slight lean from players to liking Parsons over TJ Watt. Were I to rank them myself, I would probably put TJ Watt slightly above Parsons. But again, I'm anticipating what the players are going to vote, and I think the players will vote Parsons that little bit higher than TJ Watt, putting him here at number 5. At number 4, we have Christian McCaffrey moving up 31 spots from 35 in 2023. I think McCaffrey has an excellent shot at being far and away the highest running back on this list, thanks to how dominant he was for the San Francisco 49ers during the 2023 NFL season. During the 2023 season, Christian McCaffrey led the NFL in rushing yards, put up over 2,000 rushing and receiving yards combined, won Offensive Player of the Year, scored 21 touchdowns, and finished 3rd in NFL MVP voting. Yeah, he was pretty darn good. And so while I know a lot of teams and people don't put a lot of stock into the running back position, I think Christian McCaffrey was so dominant in 2023 that he absolutely warrants consideration to be in this top 10 and as high as number 4. And given how dominant he was, how important he was to that 49ers offense that went all the way to the Super Bowl, I think it's actually quite realistic that he'll jump all the way up to number 4, especially given the fact that Josh Jacobs in 2023 finished as high as 12th in the top 10 player voting. And so I absolutely see a world where Christian McCaffrey's 2023 season is that much better than Jacobs' 2022 to warrant him going all the way to number 4. At number 3, we have NFL MVP Lamar Jackson moving all the way up 69 spaces, nice, from 72 to 3 in the 2024 version. I think Lamar Jackson could even go all the way up to number 1, given he did win NFL MVP. And it's absolutely insane that he was 72nd in 2023. That is way too low for Lamar Jackson. How the hell was he only 72nd coming into 2023? It's just unfathomable to me. I know he was injured in 2022, but he was not that lowly rated. That's absolutely absurd. Either way, Lamar Jackson, has stated before, won NFL MVP in 2023, got a first-team All-Pro nod, and finished 4th in Offensive Player of the Year voting. All told, Lamar Jackson won MVP for a reason, the second of his career. I believe he was one of the highest-rated players, if not the highest-rated player, last time he won NFL MVP, so it stands to reason that he'd be pretty high again this time around. And so I put him here at number 3. And again, he could be as high as number 1, but I think there's a couple of guys that NFL players will slot slightly above Lamar Jackson, which is why I put him here at number 3. At number 2, we have NFL Defensive Player of the Year, Myles Garrett, moving up 18 spots from 20 to 2. And Myles Garrett just makes sense here, having won NFL Defensive Player of the Year. I think everybody in the NFL knows how dominant he is, knows how dominant the Browns defense was, and how important Myles Garrett was for the dominance of that Browns defense. Yes, he didn't have anywhere close to the number of sacks of TJ Watt, only finishing with 14 sacks, which just so happens to be down from his previous 2 years where he got 16 sacks. But all told, it's Myles Garrett's importance to his team that puts him in that Defensive Player of the Year award. And it puts him here at number 2 because everybody knows how dominant a guy he is on the football field and how every team needs to account for him on every play, or else he's just going to blow it up. That's just what he does. And so Myles Garrett at 2, yeah, I think this might be a little high, but I do think he's going to come in this high. And at number 1, we have Patrick Mahomes staying pat from 2023. And it's a little weird to say that Patrick Mahomes, coming off arguably his worst season in the NFL, should still go down as the number 1 player in the NFL. But the guy is just that good that it's tough to not put him at number one because you know how good he is. And you know a big reason why he didn't have that good a season is that his receiving core was not very good at all this year. And I mean, also, he did win the Super Bowl. In 2023, Mahomes had his lowest winning percentage, his highest interception rate, and second lowest touchdowns and yards of his NFL career, which does not show as a guy who should show up as number one. But his overall stats are still very good because every year with Mahomes is great. And because he won the Super Bowl and his playoffs were really, really good, I think he does sneak back into number one. But there is a world, in my opinion, where Lamar Jackson takes over at number one. I don't think it's going to be Myles Garrett. I think it's going to be one of Mahomes or Jackson. And I do think it's going to be a Mahomes coming in at number one. But that's it for my expected top 10 of the NFL's top 100 players. Let me know in the comments what you like about my list. If you think that should be a little bit different, leave a like down below. Also, if you enjoyed the video, help us out, help us grow. Either way, we'll see if I'm right in about a week or so. But until next time, peace!